Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's yours truly, the Ace, back with another Behind the Teams video, episode 4, and we have a Miami Dolphins fan on here, man. Big fan of the Miami Dolphins, man. I'm glad to have him on. My boy Chris, man. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Ace. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem at all, man. Like I said, thanks for having you on, man. Rob Watts, salute to you for the recommendation. You know what I'm saying? And this is going to be a great episode. I'm excited to talk about it. So last year, the 2022 season, you guys finished at 9-8, second in the AFC East. What were your thoughts on the overall season last year?
My thoughts originally was it was a good season up until we started facing injuries, mainly with Tua. With him on the field, we were a really good team. I think at one point we were 7-4 at first in the AFC East. Then injuries hit him, and from there it started to slowly spiral down. But on top of that, our offensive line was not the greatest. Our defense, even though we did have a couple of standout players, was not the greatest either. Um, so, yeah, our offensive line last year ranked 22nd in the league. And we'll get into a bunch of, the free agent signings and all that. But Teron Armstead last season, a majority of the season, he wouldn't even practice during the week because he was dealing with turf toe. So he wouldn't practice. And then on Saturday, he would go through walkthroughs. And then Sunday, he would play. And he's our left tackle. Even though we have a lefty quarterback, left tackle is still a vital position.
Mm-hmm.
But on defense, that was definitely, or on offense, excuse me, that was definitely critical. So, but
yeah. Last year, high expectations for you guys, especially because that was the year that you guys got Tyreek Hill. You made that trade for Hill. So we pairing him with Waddle, you guys had a nice little dynamic, 1-2 wide receiver punch. Everybody was kind of concerned with Tua's arm strength. Would he be able to actually get the ball down? But your offense was mostly centered around getting the ball into those guys' hands quickly and letting them work until Tua got hurt. You know what I'm saying? That I feel like derailed a lot of your season, but you were still able to finish second. I feel like your defense was solid. The Miami Dolphins defense, like in the past couple of years, has always been a high scoring defense. You know what I'm saying? Like fantasy wise, they put up a lot of good points and, they kept you guys in game. But yeah, the Tua injury definitely derailed you guys, and hopefully he can play a full season. Obviously, the concussion problems are things that tend to linger. Once you kind of get one, you kind of are susceptible to multiple concussions. So hopefully, he can stay pat.
Yeah, that's for sure. So last season, when Tua was playing, we were 8-4.
Yep.
Without Tua, with Skylar Thompson and Teddy Bridgewater, we were 1-4. So there's a big difference. Our offensive points per game dropped by, I think, 7 or 8 points, which is a whole touchdown that you're missing out there.
Mm-hmm.
So Tua being healthy is definitely crucial to the success of the Dolphins this coming season. He's put on 10, 15 pounds. He also was working with some jiu-jitsu people to try to learn how to fall properly when he's getting tackled so he doesn't, get more concussions. Mike McDaniel has been really keen on Tua's decision making this off season. He's also strapped like a GoPro and stuff to his helmet to see how he goes through his progressions and why he reads the way he does in certain offensive plays. So, but bottom line is his health is essential to the Dolphins this coming season.
Of course, his health is paramount for you guys' success. Obviously, yeah, like you said. Not to get into too much of the concussion protocols, but I wouldn't mind if going into the future, even though they're ugly. I know you see those training camp hats that they have, the extra padding that they usually have. Why wouldn't they make those into like an actual helmet, like to go over the helmet? You know what I'm saying? Because the NFL does everything they already can to kind of protect the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that would limit a lot of concussions from Tua and stuff like that. But that's a whole other topic right there. But going into the offseason, what do you feel like was the Dolphins' biggest need going into the draft and free agency? And do you guys think that you accomplished that? Do you guys think that you fulfilled your needs, I should say?
I would say the number one biggest need, in my opinion, was the offensive line. Is protecting Tua. That's our number one thing because, like I'm going to state multiple times, is Tua's health is essential to the Dolphins being healthy.
Yeah.
So our offensive line only ranking 22nd. We went out and we drafted or we re-signed um, a couple of offensive linemen. We also drafted an offensive tackle. Not too sure how good he's going to pan out, but we went and we picked up some key offensive linemen that we needed to. And then kind of want to piggyback off of that is our defense was also, yeah, they are high scoring defense, but I mean, last year they ranked 24th in the league, which is well below average in the NFL. So we went out, of course, we got Jalen Ramsey,
Yep.
but I don't know if you saw breaking news today. He was carted off with what appears to be like a knee injury or some sort.
That was
So
Jalen, or I heard Joe Burrow got carted off.
it was Joe Burrow. It was Jalen Ramsey earlier at like 1 or 2 p.m. And then it was Joe Burrow about an hour or two ago. So we'll see how that goes. We re-signed a bunch of our key defensive linebackers.
Yeah.
A lot of the middle linebackers. We also went out and drafted 1 or 2 of them. We have Nick Needham, who is currently on IR or the PUP list, still recovering from that Achilles injury. But Nick Needham made a giant leap last season. And we also, I completely forgot about this, signed a new defensive coordinator, which is a Vic Fangio.
Mm-hmm.
And he's 30 plus years in the NFL. He also signed with the Eagles for the latter part of last season and helped them in the Super Bowl. So I'm excited to see his new, defensive scheme and implementing Christian Wilkins, who led the NFL in tackles for a defensive lineman. So I'm excited to see, our defense come together.
Yeah. I feel like you guys had to hit free agency hard because you guys didn't have a lot of draft picks this year. 4, if I'm looking at it correctly, it's 4, which is kind of like, did have 4? Because I understand 1 was forfeited. Which the Giants were behind. I'm a Giants fan. We were behind you guys, so we actually had to move up a slot. And then the other ones were kind of traded away. So you ended up with a 2nd, 3rd, 6th, and 7th. You know what I'm saying? Like 2nd round pick, 51st overall. You're kind of like in a position where you're taking best player available because like that low, there's no one you're really aiming for. So you guys ended up taking cornerback Cam Smith from South Carolina. How has he been doing this offseason?
I honestly haven't seen much from him, given that we also re-signed another cornerback. I don't know if I have his name here. I think, I can't remember his name, but we also re-signed another corner who came in place last season of Xavier Howard because he was injured last season. And then we have Jalen Ramsey as well. And then we also signed Deshaun Elliott out of Detroit.
And you still have Xavier Howard as well. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
He's a good cornerback. Like your cornerbacks, I feel like that 2nd round pick was more of a depth piece. You know what I'm saying? Because that could eventually take over as a starter because outside of today, you had a nice little dynamic cornerback set with Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey. Those are good, especially in the AFC East where the receivers, I mean, you guys have good receivers. The Jets, with Garrett Wilson, you could expect him with Aaron Rodgers to take a step forward. The Bills with Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs, you kind of need two cornerbacks, especially in that division. You know what I'm saying? Because, Patriots, not so much. They have Juju Smith-Schuster. I know they were really going after Hopkins, but, they only have 1. So having multiple quarterbacks would definitely be very imperative for your actual division. So hopefully Jalen Ramsey is okay because that'll be a big blow for your defense right there.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully he's okay. So, like I said, you pretty much addressed everything free agency. You're knocking it out the park. You're doing a good job. So going into the 2023 season, give me your standout player that needs to step up and be him for the Dolphins to have success.
So player, obviously I'm going to go Tua.
That's the easy answer. Yeah. Give me that answer, but then give me another one. Yeah.
So I'll give you Tua. I'll expand on it, and then I'll give you that second answer. So Tua, he definitely did. So before I get into that, I played quarterback in high school when I was recruited. Played a little bit collegially. So I'm huge on quarterbacks, right? I was not the biggest fan when we drafted Tua. I was upset. Did not like it. Anyways, he made a huge leap last season, and I was very proud. There was still room for growth. He had trouble going from his 2nd to his 3rd progression. He also had trouble stepping into his throws for deeper passes. He was lingering on his back foot, which was taking 10, 15 yards off of that pass. And he also had a problem with swallowing the football and just, on to the next play, you have another down.
Mhm.
But last season, he made a really, really good step towards being, that player. And this season, like I'm going to say over and over, if he's healthy and even if he plays just the same he played last season, I could see us making a run in the playoffs, maybe first or second round.
Mhm.
Now, my second player would
Oh,
be Mike McDaniel, our offensive coordinator, our head coach,
yeah.
because last season he would make some really good calls, and instead of sticking with the run, he would go straight back to the pass, even though we had run the ball,
Yeah.
for 10, 15 yards in a row, and then he just throws 3, 4 passes in a row, and then we're 3 and out, got a punt.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan of Mike McDaniel. I love him. He's got great vibes. He's always joking on the sideline and holding Tua to a higher standard, but also motivating him and letting him know, yo, you're an NFL quarterback. You're great at what you do, and just being real with him and honest. And I love that. And I think that duo, knock on wood, is going to do great this season.
Yeah, of course. Um, I agree with Tua. That's like the easy answer. Tua needs to, one, first and foremost, stay healthy. And second of all, he needs to have that year, because coming up on his fourth year, this is the time that quarterbacks get extended. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he the guy or is he not the guy? You know what I'm saying? Either way, this is kind of the year you need to find out if what you have in Tua Tagovailoa. And that's the easy answer. I'm gonna say there are two guys that need to step up, both on each side. Bradley Chubb, second year with you guys, needs to have a good year, because he needs to have those Denver type years. Because especially with the Jalen Ramsey news, if you have somebody that can wreak havoc on the defensive line, it takes the pressure off the secondary tremendously. So I feel like he needs to have one of those types of years, and he is one of the better defensive linemen in the league. Also, Jalen Waddle needs to have a standout year as well, because I have him. There's times I get him in fantasy. I'm just like, he's either boom or bust. It's either he's really good or he's like where is he? Where has he been the entire game? And I feel like with Tyreek Hill on the other side, obviously a lot of that could have been the not having Tua as well. But it's like he needs to establish himself as that dominant number 2 receiver, because then it takes the pressure off Tyreek. Obviously, with last year, you guys have gotten rid of Mike Gesicki, you know what I'm saying, which he was a big target for Tua, a big safety blanket. I just think this is the year if Tua can stay healthy, that Jalen Waddle needs to become that safety blanket for Tua. Tua, because it's like, yo, that rapport that we've had going on for a while already, like we need to, be on the same page. And I think he can be just as dynamic as Tyreek Hill, just because of that rapport. Obviously, Tyreek Hill is more explosive, but Jalen Waddle has a great skill set as well.
Yeah, one person that you just reminded me of that I completely forgot about is Bradley Chubb, because
Mm-hmm.
we acquired him after the
Last year.
trade deadline
Mm-hmm.
last season. He played a couple games and then he got injured for a game or two, and then he wasn't necessarily making that much of an impact. So I would say I agree with you on the defensive side of the ball that Bradley Chubb definitely um, needs to step up, because if I'm remembering correctly, we did sign him to a pretty hefty contract.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's not going to live up to that contract, we might have to renegotiate his contract, either make it back heavy or, make him take a pay cut, because Christian Wilkins is also coming up on, the end of his contract in the next year or two. So we're going to have to pay Christian Wilkins. So that's a great one. I forgot about Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, Bradley Chubb is he needs to be like Denver Broncos Bradley Chubb. Like, I
Yeah.
understand you guys got him last year, but considering this is the first full year, I think he could be more acclimated to your system. You know what I'm saying? But what are your thoughts on Jalen Waddle as well?
Jalen Waddle, man, I loved him at Alabama, man. Coming into the league, I knew he was going to be good. I thought he was going to have a problem with weight and putting on weight,
Mm-hmm.
but with how fast he is, he just put on 10 pounds and it doesn't really matter. He's fine with his weight.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, Jalen Waddle last year also struggled a ton with dropped passes.
Yep.
I believe he was either tied for third or he was tied for fourth in the NFL for the most dropped passes. So, and man, these dropped passes were easy ones. He had one or two in the Bills playoff game. One was for a touchdown. He dropped that. I mean, But Jalen Waddle, he definitely made a great leap in terms of his rookie year to this last season here. He did a great job. I think with Mike McDaniel coming into the second year of that offensive system, that's normally when you see offensive players really take that extra step if they're like not allowed to, but if they're able to. And like you saw with Trevor Lawrence, this is going to be his second year with Doug Peterson. They just made it to the playoffs. You're going to see a bigger jump with Joe Burrow. His second year, they made it to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen, his second year, they made it to the playoffs. So there's this trend of once you're familiar with that system and you understand the play calls and the schemes and the audibles and how you build that chemistry with everyone. Once you get that second year, I think that's going to be huge for Jalen Waddle and Tua.
Yeah. So yeah, and I feel like another standout, like it's a unit because you named the coach. Your offensive line needs to step up, like you said earlier. Like whether it's fully getting invested in this next coming off season, because you guys are very limited due to your situation. Only having 4 picks. Normally teams, either at the very minimum have 7 or 6, but then obviously you acquire capital as well. But you guys, traded for Chubb, you traded for Tyreek Hill, so it's like, yeah, you guys didn't have that much capital as well, and then the forfeited pick definitely hurt you guys. So, so what are your realistic expectations going into the 2023 season? And I'm gonna bring up the schedule, and we're gonna look at that.
Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah. So what are your realistic expectations? Like, what do you? I'll bring this back up when we'll go over the schedule. But what do you need? My bad. What do you need to see from this year coming up?
So this year coming up, I think we need to continue to do a good job of finishing out a game. Last season, when we were leading at halftime, we had a record of 5-1. So that's great, leading at halftime. When we're trailing at half, we have a record of 1-8. So we need to do a good job of getting ahead and staying ahead like we did last season.
Yeah. But that also comes with second half adjustments.
Correct.
Like, what I'm saying? You got to make good second half adjustments to be able to, because you're not going to be winning every game. You know what I'm saying? Second half adjustments, because you don't know what the teams are going to be throwing out there. But then once you get a little taste for it, then you adjust.
Exactly. And another thing before I get into the schedule is we need to continue to run the ball if it's working. Don't abandon the run and just get happy on just passing the ball all the time because you have Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. We have Raheem. I think we have probably the most underrated running back room in the entire NFL. Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, where's Myles Gaskin. We also have Ahmed, that's his last name, but they're all fast guys. We also drafted a running back that runs Devon Akane. He runs a 4.32. I mean, we have one of the fastest teams in the NFL. But going back to running the ball is when we rush over 100 yards in a single game, we have a 4-2 record. And when we run under 100 yards, we have a 5-6 record. So it's 50-50 when we don't, get over that hump. But when we're consistent and we establish the run, that's when we win games because it opens up the pass and it's forcing your linebackers to creep up a little bit more. Instead of running a 3-4, maybe you run a 4-3, opens all those lanes and just perfect. But now going to the schedule, we do have a tough schedule. We have, I think, an extremely tough schedule because the AFC is difficult, or the AFC East is difficult, and the AFC. We have, of course, Buffalo twice, New England twice, and the Jets twice. But on top of that, we have to play versus Denver. I think Denver's going to make a good leap this year. I think they were hated on a little too much last season.
Well, Russ had a shitty year, so yeah.
Yeah, he did. But they had, I think, a top 5 defense in the NFL, so that's not going to be an easy one. Yeah. We play at Philly. We play versus Kansas City, Tyreek Hill's redemption game.
Yeah.
We play Dallas, who I think, people can still talk about them, but they're great in the regular season. And then we also play at Baltimore, and with them, they got OBJ. I think that's going to be tough.
Another year, Lamar. So let's go through week by week and give me if you think a W or a loss, and tally it over there because I was trying to look for a pen, but all my pens are gone. All right, so week 1 versus the Chargers at LA. Win or loss?
I think we can win this game. I think it'll be a close game though, but I think our offense will definitely show out. I think it'll be a 24-17 type of game, one possession game, come down to the last minute, minute and a half, but I think the Dolphins can win game 1.
Okay, week 2 versus New England at New England. So you guys are starting off 2 games on the road.
Right. So what I love about this is we're playing New England at New England early in the season. So we don't have to go to Foxborough late in the year when it's cold. I'm going to give us another W on this one.
Okay.
We beat them last year with Tua, and then without Tua, we lost, I think, by 10 or 11 points. But give me a W on that one.
Okay. Denver Broncos, who you did say might be improved this year. So you guys are actually first home game at Denver. At first home game versus Denver. What do you give that?
First home game at Denver or at home versus Denver, man. This is a tough one. I'm not too sure. It depends on how Russ is playing and if they're playing good with they have who's their receiver? Jerry Jeudy. And then don't they have Cortland Sutton? So and then that stout defense. I don't know. Last season we started off 3-0. Why not? Let's start off 3-0 once again.
All right, you guys at 3-0. And then you go on to Buffalo at Buffalo. So the 3 out of the first 4 games are at on the road.
Yeah, I think this one is going to be an L.
Okay.
Buffalo's always tough to play, even at Buffalo, even though it's early in the year. It's just a tough environment to play. And yeah, I just got to give one to Buffalo.
Okay. Now you're going against my New York Giants. So tread softly.
Okay.
What do you think? Give me your honest opinion. What do you think?
Man, the Giants, I think it's going to be, I can't tell you what I think it's going to be. I honestly don't know. They played the Vikings so well last season in the playoffs and then just got pummeled by the Eagles in the divisional round.
Yeah, that was the Eagles.
So, I don't know.
It's going to be tough, especially it's in Miami, so that's a tough place to play. I actually think that we'll probably lose that game. Like when I make my Giants schedule at the end of the year, my opinions could change, you know what I'm saying? But when I did my early schedule prediction, and like just in my head, I haven't done it on the channel yet. I think I actually had us losing that game against Miami. The speed is a factor. It really just depends on Tua. Like, can we get to Tua? But you know what I'm saying? Your offensive line is kind of shaky. Our defensive line is pretty good. I give us a chance, but I think at home, I think I'll probably give you guys the win on that one.
I respect it. I had written down like the Dolphins are going to go 10-7, but I didn't go game by game.
Okay.
So this is a first for me, but
all right.
Okay.
So I guess we'll agree to this. We'll agree that you guys getting a win here. Okay. So Carolina Panthers
win next.
That's a win. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just in complete overhaul. So Philadelphia Eagles, I think we could agree that might be a loss for you guys.
Yeah, I think it'll be a close game, though. I really do. But they
have the corners to keep up with your receivers.
They do. And they have the best offensive line in the NFL, especially with Jason Kelce coming back.
Bradley Chubb will have his hands full of that game.
Yeah, Bradley Chubb and all of them. I'm going to say that one's an L.
Okay. So then New England again in Miami. So you did say you were going to split. So you guys.
I think we win this one again.
I think you win that one. Okay,
Dating back to 2017, before this last season,
the
Dolphins' record against the Patriots was, I think, 11-3 or something, something like just lopsided. Okay. So we've had success against the Patriots in the past. I don't think it stops. I think we keep going.
Okay, Kansas City.
Man, this is a tough one. I believe this one's in Germany or Mexico.
Tyreek Hill going back to, it's saying at Kansas City. It is actually in Germany. Yep, it is in Germany.
There we go. Man, I don't know.
Which is kind of like Tyreek Hill coming back to Kansas City. Why would they put that in Germany? It just doesn't. That's bad planning, in my opinion.
I don't know. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to tear apart our defense. I think it'll be a 10-point game. We'll try and keep it close. We'll score at the end, but I think ultimately the Chiefs will win this game.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is him. They're going to have something for him. Then you guys go on a bye week. Then you're going against the coming off the bye week, going against the Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders with Jimmy Garoppolo and Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfro. They lost their tight end though.
To the Giants, Darren Waller.
To
Yep.
Darren
Yep.
Waller. I'm not too sure how their defense pairs up against it, but who is their head coach? Is it still Josh McDaniels?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna take a dub on this one. I think we can pull through and win this
Okay.
one.
So that puts y'all at 7-3. New York Jets. They're yeah, they're pretty damn good. They're gonna be they're gonna be tough.
I don't know. I don't know about this one. I say I have the Dolphins at 8-2, and you have them at 7-3.
7-3.
I'm gonna put them. I'm gonna say this one's an L.
This one's an L. So 7.
Yeah,
I got them at 7-4. Okay.
yeah.
Washington Commanders. I need you
Oh,
guys to get a W there.
that's a well. We got you. Don't worry. That's a
All right.
W.
Appreciate
That's
that.
a
I'm gonna hold
W.
you to that. If y'all lose to them, I'm gonna message you like, bro. Thought you said you had me, bro. Tennessee Titans, who just
Oh,
got the D Hop,
D-Hop.
and this is on ESPN.
This is definitely an interesting game. The Titans last season were 7-4 or 8-4
Mm-hmm.
at the top of the AFC South. Then Tannehill goes down a game or two later, and they proceed to lose 6 games straight and just lose out of the playoffs. But this team, even though they can get memed a lot for not having playoff success, is still a really good team. Mike Vrabel does a great job coaching this group. I think it'll be a very, very close game. Are we at Tennessee for this one?
No, you're at home in Miami.
At home? What's the date on this? I can't see that.
The 12th.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's in December, in the 11th, December 11th.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna take a dub on that one.
Okay. So
But I think it'll be a very close game. Mike Vrabel, love him.
got you. Then you go against the Jets again.
Mm-hmm. So I currently have them at 10-3. So I'm gonna say we lose this one again against the Jets.
Okay.
I don't think we figure them out. I think Garrett Wilson and that defense is just overwhelming for us.
Then you're going against Dallas.
Oh man, are we at Dallas?
Yeah. No, you're at home in Miami.
At home again?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this is
Well, it's
definitely
because you got to realize you guys 3 out of 4 games are on the road, so you're going to get a lot of home games towards the end. So
that's correct. That's correct. Man, Dallas is always it's always a fun one to match up on. I can't remember the last time we played them. Maybe
but
2020,
they start
2019.
choking around this time of the year, though.
You're right. This is when they start falling apart. But I think with that offense, do they still have Kellen Moore
No,
as their
he's
offensive
gone.
coordinator?
He's in the Chargers coach now.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I don't know. We can flip a coin for this one. I mean, a lot
I
of
think
these
y'all
games.
take it. I think y'all take it because, like I said, for multiple reasons, I think they choke. You guys are gonna need these kind of games to get in. You know what I'm saying? So I think y'all get a W. And plus, obviously, I hate the Cowboys. So anytime they lose, I'll have those motherfuckers going 0-17. So
Yeah. I think offensively we match up pretty well against their defense. With Stephon Diggs just getting his extension. My goodness, I can't speak.
yeah,
He does kind of get crapped on a lot, but
he does. He's
playing
very susceptible to giving up touchdowns and yards. So
yeah, but playing corner, man, it's not easy. It's not you can't, not give up anything. So I think he deserves a little bit more respect than,
okay,
he's given, but I think our offense will kind of overwhelm the defense a little bit. So I guess I'll give us a dub on that one. So for
you.
me, I'm at 11-4.
Okay, I got you on 10-5. Baltimore. What do you do? Baltimore, Lamar Jackson
At Baltimore in the
at
cold.
Baltimore. Yep.
If OBJ is healthy and Lamar is playing well, I mean, last season he absolutely obliterated our offense in the first half when we were down, I think 24 points,
Mm-hmm.
and then we came back. I don't think that's the case. I don't think we come back this time. Late in the season against Baltimore, we play them almost every season. It's always a tough matchup. I think Baltimore takes this one by 4 points.
Okay, I got you at 10-6. Then Buffalo. The last game is always tricky because you don't know if guys are going to be sitting. You don't know, but this might pan out. This might be an important game for you guys. That's why they have it as TBD, because if you guys are both fighting for the division, this might be a primetime game.
Yeah, so I recently just did in one of my videos, I recently just went through and predicted who I think is going to win each division. And in the video, I said I think the Bills are going to win the division because they always find a way to, go through and win that division last couple of years that they have been.
Mm-hmm.
But if the Dolphins are healthy, this Buffalo game, is this in Miami, or is this in
In
Buffalo?
Miami. Yep, in
In
Miami.
Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like you said, this is going to come down to who wins the AFC East. I predicted the Dolphins to be a wild card team. I'm sticking with that. I think the Bills win this game.
Okay. So that puts you at 10-7 in my book. I'm looking at y'all schedule too. Your last road game, obviously, with the uneven schedule, you have more home games this year. You guys, last home game is against the Ravens, last road game is against the Ravens, but 14 home, 15 home, 16 home, 18 home. So 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4 of your last 5 games are at home. So that could get you guys some momentum.
That's huge.
So
if we're able to go out like 4-5 in our last 5 games, that would be crucial, especially if we were to win that Buffalo game. On my books, that would put us at 11-5, probably a 3 or 4 seed in the AFC, hosting a playoff game for the first time in 20, 30 years. Who knows?
Yeah.
But,
you need one more game. It's a 17-game season. You got 16. 11-5, 16.
Oh, I have them at...
It's 17-game season.
I have them at 11-6.
Okay, got
17?
Yeah,
I have them at 11-6.
You said 5. Okay, got you.
Oh,
cool,
okay, my bad. Yeah,
cool. Okay, so 11-6. That's very respectable. 10-win season. What do you think? Second in the division, or you think the Jets are going to be better? What do you think?
I think the AFC East is just such a tough division.
The AFC itself is a tough conference.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I don't know. It depends on how the Jets pan out, on how good they're going to be. I don't know how their schedule is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but oh man, their defense was just stacked last season.
Yeah.
It was just their quarterback position. That was the one piece that they were missing.
Yep.
And they just went and got Aaron Rodgers, who is balling out in training camp. So
that's why I think Garrett Wilson will have a great year, but I'll save that for the Jets channel. So, but 11-6 is very, like I said, very respectable. So
yeah. Hopefully, at least 10 wins. Like I said, I had them at 10-7. So 10-7, 11-6. As long as we don't go 9-8 again, I'm fine with that. But I think we're a wild card team. That's what.
But all this depends on Tua's health. If he can stay healthy, you better cross your fingers for that one and knock on wood or whatever you got to do. If he can stay healthy, you know what I'm saying? I think you guys can be a solid team. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree.
But look, man. I appreciate you coming on the channel, man. Let them know where they can find you at. Let them know what you do.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So as you guys can see right here, I'm Chris Jacobs. That's my handle. It's as simple as possible. My name is Chris Jacobs. So that's what it is. I post NFL content. I try and upload once a week, mainly NFL story type videos, and then whatever's going on. If there's any breaking news, I'll talk about that. But yeah, man, that's my channel.
Cool. And I will be dropping his channel in the description as well. So make sure everybody, you go over there and hit that like and subscribe, show some support. Like I said, hey, if you ever need me to come on the channel, just message me. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? I'm always down for that.
Got you. So, I got you.
But make sure you guys, this is another segment of Behind the Teams. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. 4 teams down. And I got a couple more people coming on. It's going to be a good time, man. But as always, guys, appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. As always, thank you for tuning into the Ace Avenue. I am yours truly, the Ace. Adios.